What up, Wholesale Million family? Happy Tuesday. Cut number 2. So I got a powerful go-giver player that I'm about to share with you guys. And dude, his stories is absolutely amazing. For those of you who don't know Brain Iregbu, dude, you need to follow this man ASAP. I'm gonna get him to drop you guys some knowledge. All right, regarding creative financing, and this is the man. His story is absolutely incredible. It's inspired so many people to take actions to get their first deal done and all of that. And also, too, so I'm going to have him share with you guys kind of his system, how he's doing it all virtually as well. And man, I remember this guy, man. I call him the people's choice. And let me tell you why. Because they love him, man. Because when I go live on IG, I get about 30, maybe 40 people on. But I got Brian, man, to jump on live with me one time. And, dude, we had over 400 people consistently join us. And from that day, I call this guy the people choice. So you guys put your hands.
Appreciate it, Khang.
Thumbs up. Help me welcome Brian, the legend, the man of Brain Iregbu. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. How you doing, Khang?
Good, man. I'm sorry for take number 2, bro.
Oh, man. Sure. Hey, until we got to get it right. We got to get it right.
Got to get it right. So, Brian, for those that are maybe living under rocks but don't know who you are, man, love to share your story really quickly, and then we'll jump into some knowledge.
Got you. So, my name is Brain Iregbu. I've been investing in real estate since 2014, right? Like months after my honeymoon, after marrying my wife. I told her that, hey, I want to give this thing a shot. I want to give it a try. I took, most of the money I had at the time. I got a mentor. My very first deal that I did, I offered a seller $100,000 for his property because it just sounded like an even flat number. And the worst thing ever happened, he accepted my offer. I can remember pacing back and forth in my living room, palm sweating, like how I'm going to come up with this $100,000. I did a lot of things wrong. But we actually closed the deal, and I made $4,800. I can remember driving to the bank with the check on my steering wheel while I was driving, just kind of like tearing up. And that was a real big moment for me, because I was like, wow, I can make money without someone else having to cut my check or telling me when I get paid, right, or how much I should get paid. So that was a pivotal moment. I was a school teacher for 4 years. I actually did go to college. Until I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad and found out I've been scammed. And then I just started looking for other ways, and I came across real estate. So during my journey, I also, because when I started, I learned creative finance as well as wholesale. I didn't learn wholesale first. I came in, and when I was originally taught the business, I was taught that, hey, market for leads. As the leads come in, you qualify them, and these are all the different things you can do with the lead. I wasn't taught, hey, this is how to wholesale. My mentor told me there's a lot of ways you can close a transaction. Focus on marketing. As the leads come in, you decide what box it fits in. And so that was that's how I was taught back in 2014. I ran with it, but I was a full-time employee working for a six-figure company. I mean, a Fortune 500 company making over 6 figures at ExxonMobil. And so I really didn't take the real estate investing serious. I would just kind of pick up a rental here and there. And the last 2 years, I really got serious with it. February, we hit our first $100,000 month, like $130,000. And that was a big thing for me, right? Because I would see a lot of people do it. I would see them do it with the office and everything. It was great. I knew when I quit my job, I knew I didn't want to be in an office. That was the reason I left the 9 to 5. I didn't want to be trapped in a box. I didn't want to trap anybody else in a box. So I left my job about a year ago. We've been consistently, killing it month after month. We have 8 full-time W-2 employees. And it's been great, man. I've purchased over $2 million worth of real estate as far as rentals that I currently buy and hold. I have half of my portfolio is notes, which I'm owner financing back out. to buyers. And man, we're just learning and growing, man. How I operate my business is a lot like you, Khang. It's a little different, but the fact that I am at home all day, every day, all day, 24/7. Brain Iregbu is at home with my dog and my wife. And as far as markets, we stay in our local market. The reason why we stay in our local market is because I don't just wholesale, I do creative finance. So if I'm just doing wholesale, there's only so many motivated sellers or so many sellers that fit that criteria. So to do more deals, you have to spread out. You need, it's a numbers game. You got to spread out.
Yep.
And so my philosophy, or at least for right now, was that, hey, instead of going wide, let's go deep. So instead of spreading it out across multiple markets, why don't I increase my knowledge in my exit strategy so I can convert more of these leads into deals? And so that was my thing. I was like, well, shoot, I'm in the 4th largest city in the United States. Why do I need to go to other markets, right? And if I can't find enough wholesale deals here, well, how many subject to deals, owner finance deals, lease options, assignments that can I find? And those are my other markets, right? That's the equivalent to me spreading wide. So, and that was my thing, because my whole goal, man, it really wasn't I had to get sold on turning up the wholesale business. My whole thing was just to buy more rentals and have that freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want. And I know you've accomplished that with the virtual wholesaling, which is amazing. Going different countries and still closing deals, man, you like Jedi Ninja, Khang. But that's my story, man. That's how I came about. That's where I'm at right now. And of course, I do share a lot of content to teach people what I do and how I do it. And biggest thing is Instagram. As I did all of this, even 2 years ago, I documented everything, right? So I wasn't one of the guys that, all of a sudden I'm making all this money and I'm saying, look at me. And it's like, well, where'd you start? Did you really start there?
Yeah.
People seen it. People see me in my work uniform talking to sellers, and we just kind of just grew from there. So now I'm learning from big dogs like you, man.
Oh, stop it, bro. So you guys, listen, man. Brian really took his annual income and boom, and turned it to your monthly income, baby. Dude,
it's crazy because we did an interview probably about a year ago, and a lot has changed in a year, man.
Dude, bro.
I think I was still working.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the thing is, for those of you who don't know Brian, man, let me tell you why I love this guy. Dude, I love this guy, man. And let me tell you why. Besides, obviously, his smile. Dude, your teeth, bro. Boom. Teeth are just perfect. But beside that, man, what I really love about Brian is that he's super genuine, man. This guy, dude, I get I have an honor, the pleasure to meet Brian in person. Super genuine. He's really there, man, to really help people out. And just what you just mentioned too, Brian, I noticed that people reach out and said, hey, Khang, like, for example, I have a student that said, hey, Khang, I want to grow my, I want to put content, but I want my personal brand, blah, blah, blah. But I don't feel like I'm there yet. I don't feel like I made it yet compared to these gal, whatever it is, right?
Right,
so
right.
holding him back. But, dude, I told him, bro, I said, check this out, bro. You don't understand. Dude, you don't need to create. There's so many guru and that's all you got there and then teaches you. And just like what you just said, people love the journey. Document your journey. And I said, check out Brian, dude. He exposed, he shared with you how he started. You know his whole stories, and that's Brian, I think that's why people love you so much, dude, because they can connect with you because you document and you took them through your journey, bro.
It's funny, and I've had with a lot of my good friends, I've had this talk. I remember I talked with Steve Trang, and he kind of was giving me a little insight because I almost went through like what's not a identity crisis, but I kind of had a little tough time during the transition. Not for the business as far because, man, God, I give it all to God. I mean, because when I left, like 2 weeks after that was like the most deals I ever locked up under contract. I had like a great, like next month, it was like I've been waiting on you to quit your job the whole time. But on the other side, as far as personally, internally, I kind of went through a little something, Kong. I don't know if I really shared it because I felt like as my business grew, I felt like I couldn't connect with my audience anymore because I got so much joy and pleasure in sharing content and the engagement and talking with my audience, right? And I got the most engagement during my journey when they knew I was a part-time guy doing this part-time. They would see me video recording when I'm talking to sellers in my work uniform, cashing the checks. They would see that. And as soon as I quit my job and then we hired a couple more employees and now I'm at home like you are, I felt like it was a disconnect because it was tough because it's kind of like, oh, wow, yeah, another guy making all this money, working on his business and not in his business. I thought so, it's been a transition trying to find the right voice to talk to. And I know you got it down, Pat. I'm trying to find that right voice and talk to, my audience because I don't see properties anymore. If you see a video of me in a property, it's usually like an old story. I just kind of recycle the content for teaching moments, or for whatever reason, I decided to jump up like, hey, I want to go on this appointment. But it's different, man. It's a lot easier to connect when you're kind of like in the field, right?
Yep.
It's almost like, I know this is not the recording you was looking for, but it's almost like, man, I don't know, the field, I like a lot of, we're closing more deals than I ever closed by myself, of course. It's hands off. I'm not doing, business stuff all day, but I don't know, man, it's been tough because I like the people part of the business. The part of the whole business I enjoy the most is talking to a stranger and finding out their problems.
Right.
But I can't do that anymore, right? Because that's the food of the acquisitions manager. I can't be eating off their plate, right? We just gotta teach, coach, and maneuver. So that's a little side note, man. We can get into the creative finance, but just kind of being a little open about how the transition's been as far as business, as far as monetary success, freedom. It is unmatched. It is unmatched. When I tell you I could do whatever, whenever, however, right? I can do it. I don't have to talk to no sellers, appointments. I don't have to do none. I don't have to be in an office. It's complete freedom all day long. However, I do kind of miss the interactions with sellers. I like it. It drives me.
Gotcha. So Brian, let me ask you, man. You guys don't have kids, right?
No kids, no.
Boom, dude. That's just, dude. My wife and I, bro, same thing. Anytime, any day, you got it. Book a book, I fly. I meet you anywhere, man.
Yeah, my wife and I are big travelers. Anybody that follows me know that we like to travel. We made it back from Paris and the Netherlands like 5 days before they stopped the international flights. We were gonna be stuck out there, right? Yeah, a couple of months ago.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'll also get Brian, you guys, to share with you guys, about being able to create a virtual business and how the overhead looks versus someone else. Now, listen, I'm not saying that at home is the right way to do it. Have an office space is the wrong way to do it. I really think it's really what it is that fits for you, for the lifestyle that you
build your business around your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like what you said because I'm not gonna be the one to shoot shade because and that's what I love about you, Kong. Great energy. I never see you get caught up in the drama and the undermining people. Good energy. A lot like me, right? I like everybody in the business. I wish them the best. Nothing. But however, there are two different ways to do the business. One is the office with all of your personnel in the office. There's pros to it, right? Because maybe, quicker communication, more productivity, being able to micromanage everyone. So, some people like that. Myself, I like more freedom and flexibility. If I have to get up and go to the office, even if I'm the owner and I'm making $5 million a month, I still feel like I got a job because I have to report to these in between these four walls. and all of my employees have to, you know, show up to that, those four walls. And that's what I was trying the whole time. That was what this was all about, to get away from that. So
the thing is, you guys,
it's not a fit for me.
So you guys, I will get Brian to drop knowledge, okay? So I will get Brian to share with you the creative financing.
We can get to it right now, man. I'm probably talking.
No, bro. So, bro, let's talk about this a little bit more. Dude, Brian, you listen, bro. When I start to decide to go real estate full time, so I've been in real estate for about 8 years now. When I decided to go full time, bro, dude, I got caught up on the whole office space. I said, you know what, man, I want to feel like a freaking boss. I want to feel like rolling into an office space, having my employee there, dude. So I rent an office space, Brian. I tried it for 6 months, and I said, what the heck am I doing? Like, so I questioned myself. I said, what am I doing? Dude, I want to be free like a bird. Like, I don't want to be trapped in a cage, dude. Birds needs to be free. So I was like, dude, this is not what I want. And from that on, dude, when you listen, for those of you who's in and out on this, you got to decide, right, what you want your lifestyle to be and create your business around it. Just like what Brian said, and then I start to eliminate anything, go meet the seller. I don't care if it's 15 minutes away from me. The seller said, oh, I got to go meet. I said, no. What you're doing is you eliminate all of that, and it gets your mind, bro, to be creative and say, hey, well, how can I start, you know? But if you start to accept that, then your mind won't search for ways to start doing it virtual, dude. You know?
Love it. I love it. Anyways, so what type of creative deals you want to talk about, man?
Let's talk about creative financing, dude, bro. So let's talk about what you were taught when you looked at deals. So let's just say a deal comes, right? You do your marketing, and when a deal comes in, man, how do you analyze that deal? Let's kind of take us through that.
Okay. First things first. Lead comes in. We qualify the lead. We're trying to find motivation. All right. So how motivated is the seller? What is their reason for selling? We tell our lead managers that is the most important question that you want to find out. Why are they selling? Okay. And sometimes they won't tell you the truth at first, because you don't have enough rapport built. So you might have to build enough rapport, get them to like you, then circle back around. So it sounds like a nice property, Mr. Seller. Why are you guys getting rid of it? And you can rephrase the question until you get the real answer, because the real answer is leverage for your proposal, your solution, or your offer. So that's one thing. Motivation. Of course, condition, timeline is another one. And check this out. And this question right here, anyone in creative finance, this question is so important because, oh my, 1 second. We're going to do something on the fly. My laptop is about to die, and I think my, so
go ahead.
So the next question is, what happens if you don't sell? That's a question we always ask our seller. The reason we ask our seller that question is because that if the seller says something like, well, if I don't get what I want, I'm just going to keep it. Well, it tells us a lot about their motivation, right? If they say, well, we got to sell it. Well, that tells me that they're willing to do something to make the profit, move. Now, if I hear something along the lines of, if I don't sell it, I'm just going to rent it out. That right there is gold for me, because who really wants to be a landlord? Wouldn't you want to receive cash flow without having to deal with the headaches and problems of tenants, right? Yep. Can we do a brief little thing? I need to call.
Yeah.
My laptop.
Yeah. Okay. So, dude, you guys.
I'm listening.
Yeah, dude. You guys, for those who just don't listen, man, dude, that is an absolute great question. What happened if you don't sell, Brian? What are you gonna do? Dude, that's an awesome question. And for those of you, there's another one that Brian really, when we did an Instagram live, Brian said this. A lot of you, what you do is that you go into asking the seller, right, before building rapport. You ask the seller, hey, Mr. Seller, what color is your panties? Dude, Brian, dude, I use that line and people crack up, but the thing is, it's true. You know, people don't build rapport. People jump in and say, hey, yo, what color's your panties? Can I see it? Dude, nobody is going to show you their panties, dude, until you build the rapport, all right? So build that relationship, build that connection with your seller, and let them open up to you, all right? Let them open up to you what their problem is, what they're going through, and how you can help them out. A lot of you, what you do is you pick up the phone, right? You pick up the phone. Your seller said, hey, I just saw one of your fantasy sign about you guys, you guys buy houses. And then you jump in, you start asking them about the property. Oh, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, square footage, all of that. But dude, you forgot about the rapport. Okay, great. It seems like you got one of our postcard or you saw one of our bandit sign about buying properties. It's great to hear that you have a property that you're interested in selling. Can I get your name? How's your day going? Well, I'm not doing, start building that relationship. Okay, before you jump in and start diving in and start talking all about, oh, hey, what's your mortgage and all that. A lot of you, that's what you do, man, and that is a mistake, because what you do is until the seller is comfortable with you and until they like you, they will put their guard up, because the whole time they're like, well, who's this company, right? Are they a scam, et cetera, et cetera. But when you build that relationship, man, you build that good rapport with the seller, man, it goes a long ways, all right? When it comes to renegotiating, when it comes to extending the contract, when it comes to do multiple showings, dude, it makes it so much easy. Brian, dude, jump on anytime, bro.
Man, I feel terrible, man. You like, what is he doing? He running through the side.
No, dude. Brian, is that your crib, bro?
Yeah, I'm at home. Subject to creative finance.
Bro, you got to do a crib tour, dude. That looks sick.
I'll show you guys a mini crib tour. Let's see.
Dude, that looks sick, bro.
Let's see.
I saw the staircase and I was like, dude, that's sick.
Where's my sorry about that.
Hey.
All right, so
don't worry, dude.
Here's like the living room area.
I love the layout, Brian.
That's a kitchen. Here's a favorite part. I just came from upstairs. Here's my wife's favorite part. Check this out.
Oh, dude. All right, bro.
Done. So
drop me your address. I'm coming over.
But anyway, so perfect example. Khang actually purchased this property subject to, as well as the last one that we lived in for about three years.
Okay.
Provided a great opportunity. The seller, when we made a cash offer, the cash offer was lower than the actual payoff amount of the loan, right? And the seller was actually in pre-foreclosure. They didn't really have enough time. They didn't have enough time to wait for the realtor to, find a buyer for the property. It was really either catch up the payments or lose it and get nothing. So what we did is we cut up their back payments. We put a little money in their pocket, took over the property subject to. It wasn't the type of equity that is usually factored in a wholesale deal, but it still left us with a little over $20,000 worth of equity, right? And we were able to close within 2 weeks without having to go underwriting, credit approval. 25% down would have been more than we actually had to come, out of pocket. So.
No worries, dude. Okay, I am going to stall. I'm going to create a financing deal. So I'm going to have him walk you guys through, maybe if Brian have enough time, go through one of his creative financing deals. I'm going to have Brian also share with you kind of the layout of his business. And don't worry, I didn't forget. I am going to have Brian come back and talk about the whole thing where the lead manager came in and he asked the question, what happened if you don't sell? And the realtor and the renter said, or the seller, he's going to ask the seller if the seller said, well, I'm going to rent it out. Then I'm going to have Brian, share with you guys, well, if that's the case, what does he do next? And how is he going to structure this to be a win-win when it comes to creative financing? Because let me tell you guys, I teach, I will do creative financing for my property. I would do it and buy property for myself. And I tell my students, my one-on-one, that when the market does tank, I'm going to go out there, man. I'm going to take up as many property as I possibly can with creative financing, which means lease options, own a contract, subject to. Because when the market tanks, man, there's going to be a lot of people that are upside down. And obviously, you can't wholesale property that are upside down because they owe more than what the property's worth. So the only way you can do it is with creative financing, going in, taking over the property subject to the existing mortgage. Then what you do is you get the renter in there, right, that pays more than whatever the mortgage is. So let's just say the mortgage is $1,000. If you can, you want to make sure if the mortgage plus the insurance, tax, all of that, you got to make sure that, let's just say that everything all together, utilities, right, insurance, everything, total to your month out of pocket is $1,000. So obviously you got to make sure that you can profit, right? So let's just say if that property can rent out for $1,200 a month, that means the renter is going to pay for everything, the mortgage, the tax, the insurance, and all that, and you get a pocket $200. See, that's when creative financing comes in, all right? It works on deal that you cannot wholesale as a straight out cash. But I am not an expert in that area, so I don't teach it. I would do it for myself, but I don't teach, okay? And that's your audio. Hold on a second.
So, in my life, I'm so glad you do not have this live.
No, my channel is all about just raw. Well, what happened if you don't sell the property, Mr. or Mrs. Seller?
So you're going to edit this, Kong?
Let's go to the one where the seller, if I'm the seller, I'm saying, yeah, I'm going to keep it as a rental. or I'm going to rent it out.
How do I respond?
No, it's clear that's absolutely gold to you. So,
right.
So
because here's why it's gold. It's gold because it lets me know that they are willing to, or probably not. So that's one way I could respond to that. So, Mr. Seller, I mean, what if there's a way that I could get you money every single month without you having to deal with the headaches of being a landlord and dealing with tenants? Does that sound like it'd make more sense for you? Or probably not.
Oh, dude, Brian, dude, I like how you throw in the
negative.
Yeah, or not, dude, because what it is that you're at the same time pushing them away too. That's incredible, bro. Pushing them away at the same time.
Right. And so it's almost like countering punches. For everything they say, understanding the different things you could do with creative finance, you're gonna respond. So they say, "Oh, I'm just gonna rent the property out." Oh, rent the property out. Have you ever dealt with tenants before, Mr. Seller? And I might just ask and just be quiet.
Yeah, I have, and I mean that's probably kind of the last thing that I want to do is dealing with the renter.
Yeah, Mr. Seller, we definitely have had our stories. So, Mr. Seller, what if there's a way I can, make sure you get paid every single month, take care of all the maintenance so you won't be receiving calls, take care of everything with the property, and you don't have to deal with being a landlord? Does that sound like it'll be a fit for you, or probably not? You're gonna say yes.
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna say yes. It's easy.
Yes, and and I would say so. So what do you have in mind?
Exactly. That's where you're coming from. Yeah. I know where you're going before you know where you're going, and that's where you should understanding the different strategies. That's why you could. So, Mr. Seller, yeah, great question. Now it depends on, does the property has a mortgage? Is it free and clear, right? So let's say if the property is free, let's say the property had a mortgage on it, all right? It's all going to depend on how much available cash flow there still is in that deal, right? Because
yeah. So Brian, now let's take me and the audience to one of the recent deals that you just did. Okay.
Creative finance?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So seller has a mortgage balance of $174,000, right? The property needs about $40,000 worth of work.
Wow, okay.
Right? ARV is like in the low twos.
Okay.
You do the math on it, it's not a wholesale deal.
Nope.
Okay. If they put it on the market with a realtor, the lender is we're paying the commissions because you know on $174,000 purchase price, right? You're paying 6%. So there's not enough room really to sell at retail. He's stuck between a few different situations. Either you can rent the property out. So luckily the guy was current. He's current on his mortgage, but he's already moved. So he's paying for a mortgage in another state, and he's paying for this mortgage right here, right? A lot of people not in a position to be able to pay two mortgages. So the question becomes, Mr. Seller, if I was to pay, purchase we're buying properties similar to this around this and this, right? If we were to purchase your property, cash, take care of all closing costs and get you closed out quickly, we're going to need to be somewhere between this and this. Oh, I can't do that. I owe one something. Yeah, Mr. Seller. So obviously, Mr. Seller, it seems like you being able to bring 45,000, whatever that number would have been, $40,000 to the closing table just to make this deal work isn't a fit. What if there's a way that I could take over on your mortgage payments and get you cashed out down the road? Does that sound like something we should talk about, or probably not?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Let's hear that.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Seller, cash is not a fit. Like I said, you can always fix this property up, put it on the market with the realtor, and get full retail value. Of course, you're going to need to invest some more money. If the purchase price is a little higher than what we feel comfortable with. So how this would work is that we will simply just take over on your payments. We will be making payments on your behalf, making them directly to the lender, right? And we would then, now that we own the property, you would deed the property over. Now that we own the property, we'll go to fixing up the property and like we would normally do. And when the property in the future, when the property has enough equity to sell, we'll do so and get the loan cashed out. Ask whatever question comes to your mind. I'm ready. Go for it.
So,
because different sellers are going to have different questions.
Wait. So does that mean I'm still responsible for the property?
We're actually going to be the owners, Mr. Seller, but the underlying loan is going to stay in your name. We're not going to have to go. It's a real simple, easy transaction. We don't have to go take out any new loans. Your existing loan that you took out that you're paying on, we're just going to continue to pay on it just as you've been paying on it. We're going to be the new owners of record. You no longer have to worry about maintenance, taxes, insurance, payments with this property. And when we have enough equity in the future to, pay it off, or when the loan term is over, it'll be out of your name. This way, Mr. Seller, we can pay a lot more money than we would have been able to pay cash. We take care of closing costs, and we can get this behind you, get you from under these payments. Yeah, that sound like it'd be possibly be something. That sounds like it'll work or solve your problem.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds good because I can't continue paying the double mortgage payment on my house and on this property.
Yeah, that's.
So when do you think that you'll be able to get this done and actually get my name off the property?
So, Mr. Seller, the only thing we guarantee is that the mortgage payments will be paid. We don't guarantee when the loan will be out of your name. So you can really expect for it to stay in your name throughout the long term. If things change and we sell the property sooner, great. One thing we can guarantee is the mortgage payments will be paid.
And all the taxes and everything, you guys are going to take care of all that.
Mr. Seller, that house is our problem now. You can sleep well and rest assured that all that is taken care of.
I got you. Okay, so I mean, I'm kind of new to this. So what would be the next step that we need to do?
Sure, Mr. Seller. So we work with competent real estate attorneys and title companies. We'll go ahead and write up this agreement that we're going to be taking over your existing mortgage balance. I'm going to get our agreement over to the title company, and they're going to do what they need to do. And once title is clear, there's a couple other documents we're going to sign, and that's that. If you have any other questions, Mr. Seller, please reach out to my title company. I'll give you your email. We have an excellent reputation with them, as well as our attorney, right? So you know that you're dealing with competent professionals and individuals. We do transactions like this all the time. Anything that I didn't really explain clearly, Mr. Seller, or that that you would like to be a little more comfortable with?
No, I mean, the only thing that I guess that I need to do now is I definitely, want to call up the title company just to verify you guys, just to make sure, obviously this is a legit deal.
Oh, absolutely. With that, I'll go ahead and send you over some video testimonials to help you with your decision.
Oh my God, dude. So you guys, a lot of you don't what Brian
and that's just a subject too. That's one of many different types of transactions. And usually the objections are going to be the same. It's going to be, what happens if you don't pay? Who's when will the house be out of my name, or I want the house out of my name, and things like that. So Brian, so what would you say if the seller will say, what happened if you don't pay? That's a great question, Mr. Seller. If I don't pay, all right, so two things, because we got two different types of transactions. We have a subject to and we have a wraparound mortgage, which a wraparound mortgage is technically seller financing, right? So what happens if I don't pay, Mr. Seller? Well, it destroys your credit. And you can stare them dead in the eye. I know this is uncomfortable, but it's like the takeaway. You tell them the truth. Be honest. Because what people are used to are people trying to dodge and avoid questions. Just tell the truth. What happens if I stop paying on this mortgage? It's going to hurt their credit. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Dude, stone cold.
But you could follow that up. You could soften the blow, because you want to be honest. Soften the blow by, Mr. Seller, of course, we have time and we're going to have a lot of money invested in this property. And we're not in the business to lose money. So you see, Mr. Seller, we have a lot of skin in the game. So, you could rest assured that the payments will be made.
Gotcha. Dude. So,
and here's another thing. Yeah. If that's a real objection for them, what we could do is we can we can, instead of a subject to, whatever that existing loan balance is, we just do a wraparound mortgage, an exact wrap of the underlying lien. And this way we have a deed of trust and a promissory note for the seller. And so if we do it like that, or if that's really an objection, what we can tell the seller is, well, Mr. Seller, if we don't pay, the house goes back to you, along with all the improvements we've made, along with the down payment we've given you, and all the debt pay down. So, Mr. Seller, we're at the risk is really on us.
Yep.
So it just depends on how you want to structure like the paperwork.
I love it, man.
That makes
so
sense.
You guys, okay, listen, like for those of you who you guys need to understand this. If you want to get into learning creative financing, man, I can't see any other better person, man, to really follow and to learn from beside Brian. Because as you guys can see, the difference between the communication, if you're doing a straight out cash versus creative financing, because you got to know how to handle objection like this. Because one thing you say wrong that the seller feel uncomfortable with, or feel like, hey, this sound like a dude, it's game over. All right.
A confused mind always says no.
Yeah, I love it, bro. Dude, okay, so Brian, now let's talk about let's talk about how's your business, like the layout of your business right now, bro.
Okay. Did you want me to finish that deal?
Yeah. And now, if you got time,
so you could know where the money was made.
Yep. If you got time.
Okay. So, pretty tight deal. Didn't make sense to make. So if I would have, so we could have took it over subject to, but the cash flow if we rented out would only be like $150. The mortgage was like $1,700. I'm not for a $1,700 note for somebody to stop paying for $150 wasn't really worth it. So what we did was the seller was like, you asked some great questions. They said, I'd be comfortable with that if I can at least get $10,000 down up front. like, 10,000, and sometimes it makes sense, but this one, we end up agreeing to give him $7,500 up front, okay? $7,500 at closing and take over his remaining mortgage balance. Now that we have that agreement in place, that we're going to give him $7,500 at closing and take over his existing mortgage balance, we begin marketing, right? The same way when you get a wholesale deal in the contract, you begin marketing to your cash buyers. Well, we begin marketing for owner finance buyer, right? Because what we did is we turned around and sold the property for $20,000, more than the agreed price with the seller on owner financing. All right. So the buyer, they brought $20,000 down. Okay. They brought $20,000 down, and the $20,000 from the buyer minus the $7,500 to the seller is the assignment fee. Okay. We assigned the terms. We assigned the wraparound mortgage. Okay. And so basically how it went, the agreement with the seller goes to the title company. We begin marketing just like on a wholesale deal. We find the buyer, okay? We get them to sign our assignment agreement. We line them up with the insurance and let them know, send them to the title company, non-refundable earnings. And just like a wholesale deal, you just now wholesale terms. And we made $12,500 on a deal that nobody would have bought. And the good thing about it is on that one, on that transaction, we're no longer in the middle of the deal.
So Brian, let me ask you this, bro. So let's just say that you assign this deal over to this end buyer, right? Mm-hmm. And you got your assignment. Now, what happened
if the buyer doesn't pay?
Yep. You do it all over?
And so that's what. So and how we structured this transaction. Basically, what we're doing is the seller is owner financing the property to us. It's basically he has an underlying mortgage and he's seller financing, aka a wraparound mortgage. So he's seller financing to us. All we did was just assign our owner finance agreement that we had to someone else. And with the disclosures, when talking to the seller, we tell the seller, look, we have people that are in our buyers program that we're going to look to put in this property. Okay, we're going to step out. They're going to work directly with you. We got everything set up with the escrow account, Mr. Seller. If the buyer in the future defaults, Mr. Seller, right? If they default from making those payments to you every single month, Mr. Seller, you can foreclose, right? Because the owner finance.
Yep.
All right. You have a deed of trust. You have a promissory note, Mr. Seller. You can foreclose, get the property back, and please reach out to us. We'll help you find another buyer. Because what we're gonna do, we know how to find the buyers. We could do it again, give him some money, make some more money off the property. So that's just one way to do it, because in this situation, we're not the ones liable if they default. But if I took it over subject to and just kept it as a rental or sold it on a lease option, well, if they stop making payments, I'm gonna have to make those payments,
right,
until I get somebody back in there. So a lot of people don't know that when you talk creative finance, it's not subject to. That's like the drop in a bucket. There's so many different ways. What I just told you was a assignment. It was actually an assignment, but I wasn't assigning a cash deal like wholesale. I assigned an owner finance transaction that had an underlying mortgage still in place. Same thing, you can assign a lease option deal.
Gotcha. So Brian, when it comes to this, just make sure it's done clean. Besides clear communication with the seller, I guess the paperwork, the
paperwork makes the paperwork.
Is very important, right?
Paperwork makes the paperwork. I don't know if you ever heard me say it, but I haven't got a shirt made. If you ever see a shirt made, you know where it came from.
You should get a shirt made, bro.
Paperwork makes the paperwork. Of course, documentation, Kong, is critical. Yep. Because when anything ever goes wrong, you always want to have the correct documentation, to protect Absolutely. You. And the best way to do that is let the experts handle it. All right. Instead of whipping up some documents, no, let your attorneys handle the legal paperwork. All these deals, we actually go through title companies. Our title company gives us gives the buyer title insurance on those deals.
Awesome, man. Dude, Brian, if you have some time, in, let's talk really quickly. I know you're already dropping a lot of bombs already, bro. Let's talk about, you know what? Let's get this out of the way, because I know there's people that's probably I have so many asks about the whole creative financing and who they can learn from. So Brian, where can they follow you, bro?
Go to Brain Iregbu on YouTube. Man, I'm trying to keep up with you, man. You got so many videos. I've been trying to be consistent on YouTube. I've been hitting about 2 videos a week. So Brain Iregbu on YouTube and House Buying Brian on Instagram.
Boom. Okay. Now, Brian, let's talk really quickly, man. How's your business layout right now? The layout of your business.
Layout of my business. So we have 3 lead managers.
Okay.
We have 3 acquisitions managers, and we have a dispositions manager.
How many? 1?
1 dispositions manager.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. 3, and we have an admin.
Okay. And what does the admin do?
She almost plays the role of a CFO without the formal title.
Gotcha. Now, Brian, let me ask you, man.
She does a lot of the just kind of,
right,
holding things together.
Good, man. So now, Brian, do you guys have so all of these are VAs?
All of who?
Like lead manager, I call them the
lead managers. Lead managers, 2 are VAs, and one is in the States.
Okay. Yeah. How about the purchase manager? Or you guys call them the acquisitions manager?
Now they're here on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now, Brian, let me I think you probably don't have time for this. So let me ask you, man. So what does your overhead look like per month?
Overhead, little over 20.
Okay.
Yeah, a little over 20.
No, I mean, wait.
I think skip tracing probably is our biggest expense.
Oh, wait, dude. So you're so you're talking about marketing? No, dude, I'm just talking about just employee.
Oh. Yeah, we don't do salaries. Overhead for, I don't know. We have a full-time videographer now. He probably gets paid more, like $5,000. Our administration, she's on salary.
Okay.
Yeah, she's on salary.
Gotcha. No, I mean
and the videographer.
Okay, so
and our VA, but she's like VAs are like $6-7 an hour. We're paying about $700 a month for our VAs.
Yeah. And you guys, the reason why I asked Brian this is overhead, because listen, man, like I said, all right, I went into the mastermind, dude, and for those of you who don't know behind the scene, it's not always bigger is better. Now, I'm not saying that there's these guys and gals out there that have big office space and all that are not bringing in the dough. What I'm sharing with you is I'm in mastermind where guys and gals do hundreds of deals a year, millions. But dude, some of them, like, you don't know, like sometimes you don't know what you don't know because you're not behind the scenes.
You know, it's funny. I'm so glad you said that. And I really appreciate that so much, that I was able to, become friends with some of the top people in the industry and actually get to look behind curtains and everything. Yeah. And it is different, but like you said, it depends on what you really want, right? Depends on, neither one is better than the other, but yeah, I see that, $150,000 average month with a 15% profit margin, and then the audience is thinking, oh, $150,000 a month, when that really means $22,000 or $30,000 profit a month. When and they're looking at these guys and they're feeling like they're feeling bad, like they're not there yet, when they don't know that they're already winning. They don't know that if they're by themselves and they don't have the employees like me and you have, and they close 2-3 deals and make $30,000 that month, that they're probably making just as much as the person that they're seeing with the Ferrari.
Yep. Oh my God, bro, Brian,
But you would never know that until you get to that level and see it.
Yep.
Because on the outside, guru talk. You always gonna be like, nah, 150,000 means 150,000 a month. That's 150,000 crisp bills going in your account and staying in your account. That's a big difference.
Dude, Brian, dude, man, when you get time, man, we should do another IG live because
that's what we need to do.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. We got to talk about this topic because I tell you guys why. Because a lot of you, dude, listen, it's not about how much you make, dude. It's how much going in your pocket, dude. It's the bottom line, dude.
Yeah, that'd be a great live, man, because I think a lot of people struggle. I struggle with it.
Yep.
Kong, do you know how long I struggle with that?
How long?
So two things I struggle with. You remember when you said I want the office, I want to feel like a boss? Yep. I always felt like I was behind because I didn't have that. But then once I left my job, right? It was almost like immediately when I left the job, I was like, wait up, I don't want to go be stuck anywhere for 8 hours. And my wife was like, hey, when you coming home? Guess what my wife is? She's around that corner over there.
Dude, so the thing is, like, for those of you who don't know, if you go back to if you go back all my way back, I post dude, right? I'm
checking my email because I bet we got a deal closing this. I know we got some closing this week. Just show you guys, like, hey, it depends what you want to do. If I want a midday drink, I go fix me a drink.
So Brian, you know that, bro? I was also struggling when I watch people, right? Obviously, and I felt, and dude, at the time, man, I was like kind of a one man, right? The wife helps out on the marketing. I was some one man dude. Dude, I was cranking out before I hire on a VA, and the wife, dude, tell me, Carl, you need help. Dude, I was cranking out like 50 G's, probably 50 G's a month. And the thing is that, dude, all by myself. But the thing is, you guys got to understand, every market is different. So I don't talk about numbers of deals, dude. I talk about how much you make, dude, how much money, right?
Yeah.
Because one person, 2 deals, right, 25K a piece, or maybe just one deal, 50 to 100K a piece, and you hear the other person, dude, I just did, you know how many deals I did this month? 20 deals. And then you look at that and you be like, man, I only did 2. And then you look at yourself and let me tell you guys, man, Brian, dude, I struggled with that for a long time. And go ahead.
I'm sorry. IG Live, man. We got to do it, but continue.
Okay, done. So for those of you who go ahead and follow Brian and I are going to have to do that. But I struggled with that, bro, for a very long time. And now, just to let you guys know, the people I follow, for those of you, you got to understand, man, a lot of times it's better to disconnect and focus on your game. Just focus on your game, man. You got to get rid of this distraction noise. And Brian just mentioned this, man. Until you get up to the level, you hang out with all the people, dude, I swear to God, Brian, some of the people that I look up to, now that I'm in the mastermind, and I said, oh my God, dude, your overhead is 150 G's a month? God, dude, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, dude. Some of these
that's like, bro, that's the rat race. That's just as bad as going work 9 to 5 for $6 an hour.
Hell yeah. Go, Brian.
So come.
Yep.
I just like you, the whole time I'm like, man, I've been doing this for years. And God, they all the way up here, and I've been doing this for years, and I'm still only making this and feeling like I'm losing. Guess what? When I got up there and started looking around and I got with the crowd, I was like, yo, I was winning the whole time.
Yeah.
We was making the same amount. Like,
Yep.
I was making the same amount of people with 20 employees.
Hell yeah.
The bottom line, you know, the actual profit, what goes home to the family. I was like, wow, man. The whole time.
Dude,
comparable.
Yeah, man, Brian. When I was in CG, the mastermind, they talk about profit first, dude, and it blew everybody up because everybody started to look at what they were doing, dude, and it's crazy. But anyways, Brian, I know that you probably got to go, man. So we're gonna wrap this up. So Brian, any last word for the people that are either starting out or maybe all they do is they just like wholesale straight out cash? What are some tips, advice that you can give to them, man?
I would say focus on your own don't let your food get cold looking at somebody else's plate.
Stone cold. I like that, bro. I like that because I think a lot of people, what it is that's what they're doing.
And because it's three. If you're coming up in wholesaling, just how it's kind of like publicized, there's three places that you might fall in a trap. One is feeling like you're not doing enough before you just make that assumption, you want to look at profitability, because a lot of times you might be doing better than, some of the people you're looking at, so that's one thing. It's not all about what's being made about a month, what's actual the bottom line. Number two is don't get so caught up in someone saying, how many deals you do a month? What does it matter? Yeah. We actually had our VTO meeting from the book Traction, and we talked to our employee, and we were talking about just for the organization, how we would rather close 4 to 5 deals at $20,000 to $25,000 spreads, right? Rather than close $25,000 spreads. The reason why is because closing $25,000 spreads is way more work. Do you know for every deal we get under contract, how many emails are sent back and forth to the title company, to the seller? You see what I'm saying? Like for every property, there's pictures that go in the drive. There's a write-up that's going on in dispositions. You see what I'm saying? There's emails, text messages. And so think about that. Amongst 20 deals, like why? Why don't you make the same amount of money with 4 deals? It's way more efficient. And so we had to get in the VTO meeting, we had to tell we was talking to this is a whole team. And we was talking to them, and we had a chart, and we did the math. We was like, all right, we went from $5,000 spreads, 20 of them, because we was just looking at something little as $100K a month, $5,000, 20 of them, to 4 transactions at $25,000. For myself and for an organization, I would rather close. If I'm trying to, let's say, hit 100K every month, I'd rather close 4 deals at 25. That's a lot less stress.
Yep.
Than deal with 20 different transactions.
Dude, let me tell you guys,
bigger spreads.
Dude, this is why. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Dude, this is why I love this guy and I respect him so much. All right, because we think alike when it comes to that, man. Profit. So listen, man, maybe Brian and I are going to set up an IG live. We're going to talk about what we just want to talk about, right? Also, too, is we are going to talk about is how can you just need to increase your sign-in fee so you don't have to do so many deals and grind so much hard trying to compete getting deals instead of profit. So anyways, for those of you haven't followed Brian, man, I highly recommend this guy and follow him, Brain Iregbu, House Buying Brian on Instagram. Brian, I want to say thank you so much for your time and for the knowledge you've dropped today, brother. Thank you so much, dude.
Man, I thank you, Khang. Appreciate it, man.
Yep, not a problem, you guys. Take care. Until next time. Ciao, bro.